scholarships, study in different countries. Again, you can study not only in South Korea, you can study in any country with us. Finding a job, relocation, any of this. You also have access to the platform, which is different products that involves program search. You have so many expert content gathered in guides, and you have more than 50 of them. You have the scholarship database, and you have all the innovative products, those who we raised 4 million to build. That's gonna simplify the whole admission process, and it's gonna be super easy and flow. It's gonna be personal workspace, admission life hacks, and lots of documents, samples and templates, and including essays, statement of purpose, or like CVs of people who actually been studying in other countries. So, okay, without any further ado, I would like to introduce our speakers today. So, like, guys, if you can switch on the cameras, that would be nice. So, yeah, awesome. I like it. Yay. Can I actually make it? Let me see if I can make it. Or make it more. Yeah, great. A bit of self-presentation is done. So we have awesome speakers today. First, Sophia, with the awesome earrings. I like it. It looks really awesome. Yeah, she was studying Seoul National University. And we also have, and you also received like one of the most competitive scholarships. Correct me if I'm wrong. I remember, like the Korean.
Yes, I studied in Seoul National University
who've been studying master's here. Now you're finishing your PhD as well in the career. And I have Anastasia, was actually also like part of the study for team, and she's top expert, admission expert. She has 100% success rate for the career, and she was studying in the career herself. Welcome, guys, and thank you so much for being today with us. I'm sure, like, guys, I'm gonna be excited. Before we start, we have a plan. We have a few topics to cover, but for those people in the chat, if you can write, like one question you would like to ask, like today's speakers, please write in the comments, and I will pick the most interesting ones and the most useful for the rest. I'm trying to, maybe I can remove. Yeah. Let's do, I'm going to remove the slides. So it's going to be a bit, yeah, more useful. Awesome. Yeah, I like it right now. Great. So guys, first of all, thanks so much for finding time and talking to the students. I'm sure you remember like a few years ago, each of you have been, like student trying to apply, and, like it was like so like lost in the information, not, like being able to understand, like what's going on and looking for the support. Let's just do maybe with a small, I don't know, like warm-up question. Why did you choose South Korea? We're gonna, I don't know, like maybe answer in turns and when I'm asking some of you like in return. But yeah, why have you decided to study in South Korea? Have you been considering any other countries? Yeah. Anyone wants to jump first?
Actually, I think I can start.
I think you guys are mute.
Can you hear me?
Nope.
Uh-huh.
No.
Can you hear me now?
Can please anyone try to speak?
So am I audible?
Okay. Is it just my problem? Okay, guys, like do you hear them?
Yeah, actually, guys, can you hear?
We can hear myself, but not people, right? Have you guys allowed like the whole okay. We can hear, but you can hear me, not the people, right?
Okay, guys, let's do like that. Can you hear me?
Okay. How about like people write in the chat who are they able to hear?
Okay, properly.
And then we'll figure out.
Okay, it seems like the problem was my laptop. Sorry, I just messed up. Yeah, I think it was problem on my side. So sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So before we start, as we start, some technical delay, but yeah, can you please share why study Korea? I mean, why South Korea? Why have you decided to study there? What was your story behind this?
Okay, so I believe I can start. Actually, I have pretty obvious reason. First of all, because South Korea is not so expensive country in terms of living expenses, living costs, and in terms of education, of course. And actually, I'm from the eastern part of the Russia. I don't know, maybe you've heard about Vladivostok city. It's actually my hometown, and it's pretty close to South Korea. and actually just 2 hours by plane, and that's it, I'm there. So that is why I'm very close to my family, which was very important because time difference, we have a small time difference. And actually it's one more time, it's very close. So yeah, it was my reasons.
Nice. What about you guys?
Okay, so I'll start then. So I kind of like have a master experience in Denmark as well as in Korea, and I decided to continue in Korea because like so I come from a tech field, so and Korea is one of the most tech savvy countries, as you can like the people who are studying here can like witness to that, can be witness to that. So I mean, my primary motivation for pursuing education in South Korea was just like how much resources you can access for your like enhancing your skills. Basically, that's at the end of the day, everyone wants that.
Have you been
So
considering
it just
any other
provides you with
countries?
best opportunity.
Yeah. Have you been considering any other countries
Uh,
besides Korea?
so so as I mentioned, like I had like a master's from Denmark. So before for PhD, I mean there were multiple countries I had offers from, but I kind of chose Korea because of the opportunity I had with the project which we were doing right now.
Nice. Love it. So finance, proximity, technology, technical saving. Sophia, your story.
Okay, I was majoring in Chinese during my bachelor's, so I was considering either going to China because it was my major, or to South Korea because I was in Korean at the same time, and I just applied to, as I remember, to Taiwan University and to a few South Korean universities, and I was accepted here first, so I decided to come here.
Nice. But like, why? I mean, like, have you been decided? I mean, like, so you've been decided between China, Taiwan, and Korea.
Yes. I wanted to study abroad. I wanted to study political science abroad, and since I was studying Chinese and Korean, I decided that doing master degree with in either in Chinese-speaking country or in Korea would be really great for me.
What was like? I'm kind of curious because I haven't studied in Korea, but I was studying in China myself. So I know like Asian countries can be very unusual. You know, like not like something you can imagine. So like, what was like the most, I guess, like first shocking thing that like you remember, like when you just arrived to Korea, or like some like cultural difference, like anything that you still remember. I mean, like the first experience, the most unusual one.
Actually, two hands. You need to do everything with two hands all the time. If you're doing something with one hand, it's impolite. It's pretty impolite. So, and actually kind of because Russians, we used to do everything give money by one hand, just shake others' hands, right? But actually in Korea, you need to do everything by two hands all the time. And yeah, it was so shocking. It was half of the year I needed to use to do this.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Complicated. I didn't know that it's actually so complicated.
What about you guys?
Wow.
I think for me it was more about weather because I am from the northern part of Russia. I think for me it was more about weather because I am from the northern part of Russia. I'm from St. Petersburg, so it's pretty cold over there. And when I first came to Korea and when I first came to Taiwan before, it was so hot during summer. I didn't know what to do because it's the only thing you want to do is just drink water, but people around, they have their lives, they ride bikes, they eat food, and it was so hot that I just wanted to stay indoors for the whole day, and it took me a really long time to get used to the weather conditions here.
Yeah, I was studying China. I remember it was like subtropics. It was just like, oh my God, I just wanted to take my skin off. It was just like so humid, like so unusual. Yeah.
Exactly.
Franchai, what about you?
Sorry, can you repeat the question again? I just
What was like the most
wasn't able to hear that.
Yeah, what was like the most unusual experience when you like just arrived to the South Korea? I don't know, like cultural or like anything.
I think I would say the night safety and the nightlife. You would still have a nightlife compared to European countries. I mean, in European countries, you would, after like 5 or 6, you wouldn't find any person on the streets. over here you would find like pick any time of the night and you'll find some people and some shops open. So it just kinds of like provides you with almost anything at any time you require. So that was like something which I really appreciate over here.
That's I'm sure that was super useful and super nice while being students. Yeah, because nightlife, like it's either partying or like trying to find, like late night food before the exams. That's super useful. Now, like we all know that lots of people right now considering South Korea because of the affordability. Because like in many countries, you can get a great quality education, which can be covered by the scholarships and grants. Can you just like maybe briefly share your story? Like what kind of scholarships you applied, if you received, like or like how to approach, the whole scholarships itself for the students. Yeah, how free can it be to study in Korea?
Okay, so I'll start again in this case.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't win any government scholarships such as GKS, for example. However, I got discount for my education. It was 40%, and actually initially it was 30%, but I increased it till 40% or out of kind of tuition fee. And actually, of course, not for so many people it's affordable because it was still kind of around 300 or 400.
Okay.
Yeah, during semester, within one semester, I needed to pay this amount of money. But actually, that is why I chose Daejeon rather than Seoul. Actually, I was educated. I got my education in Seoul in Daejeon. It's actually discount. So kind of, I won 40%. I didn't need to pay this 40%. That's it. It was from my own university, not from the government or any other organizations.
And yeah, before we continue with the rest of the guys, with the rest of the speakers, you can see like lots of the questions, but also because Anastasia has been like expert in the South Korea, can you just like do like a brief maybe overall from the experts, like we're an expert hat, like if there's like any specific scholarship for like any majors, or how the whole scholarship system works in South Korea, the government, universities, so like masters, undergrads, who can like really apply to have the highest chances to of receiving a scholarship?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so actually for the South Korea, I can say that first of all, they have a government scholarship, which is GKS. And actually, I believe that we will talk about this a bit later. Actually, it's very, very competitive scholarships. It related to the master's, to the bachelor's, and to PhD degrees as well. So, and actually, if you would like to want the scholarship, you need to understand that you will need to learn the language. If you apply for the scholarship, you need to have a topic 5. It's a language requirement. If you do have it, you don't need to take any 1 year extra to learn the language. Kind of one more time, GKS makes you to learn the language. It's important, and kind of you cannot, I don't know, skip it. So yeah, kind of it's the most popular scholarship. I think mostly everyone who wants to join and to start studying in South Korea, it's kind of they know about the scholarship. So for example, for some specific specializations, they don't have so much scholarship, but for example, they have organizational scholarships, such as, for example, Samsung scholarships. Additional scholarships, such as, for example, Samsung scholarships. So if you would like to study, I don't know, electronics or some engineering stuff, AI, IT, Samsung scholarships. So actually, they have pretty much interesting scholarships from the companies. Top companies, so you can find there. Or actually, for example, if you don't see kind of obvious scholarships on the sites, you can always text to the company and ask them, kind of, do they have any special scholarships? Kind of, so here, guys, I would like to work in your company. I would like to pursue this degree kind of related to your company. And actually, I'd like to be best of the best and so on. So you can just text the company and they will tell you, do they have any scholarships or not? Because not all the time they have scholarships on their website.
Nice, thank you for the whole overview. And I can see like guys, you have like so many questions about scholarship for nursing, for pilot, for medicine, and so on. So like again, like how the government scholarship works. So like it can cover any scholarship to any major. So like you don't have to ask like about like scholarship for like, I don't know, geography, scholarship for the business, scholarship for like anything. When you apply for the government scholarship, and that's GKS, it covers any major. So there's like no difference about this. So like, no difference in like for the psychology or like anything. That should be very clear for you to understand. Yeah. And yeah, awesome. So scholarship experience. We started to talk about government GCAS. Sophia, you won it. That's like super competitive. How was your experience? And like, what was like the secret to winning this?
GKS is an amazing scholarship. It covers almost everything. It covers your flight to Korea. It covers your living expenses as well as your tuition fee. And the good point that it covers, for master degree, it covers 2 years plus 1 year of language studying, and then for PhD it covers, as I know, 3 years. So you can cover all the credits in 2 years and just write your thesis in 1 year, and still scholarship will cover that. But besides government scholarship, for example, in my university, in Seoul National University, there are also a lot of scholarships for foreign students. Among my friends who entered the university without government scholarship, they all got their tuition fee covered by the university, regardless whether they were master degree students or PhD students. At least for the first year, their tuition fee was fully covered. And I think that was amazing, because the only thing that's left for them is to cover their living expenses. As a inside university, there are also a lot of scholarships that can allow students to study there, because the most problem for a lot of students, as far as I know, is to cover the tuition fee, because well, that's quite expensive in Korea. Even though in national universities, since they have government support, it's a little bit cheaper. Seoul National University's tuition fee is a little bit cheaper than others, but still it's a great support from the university. And I know that for those students who after their master degree decided to do PhD at the same university, they got their professor's personal scholarship as well as support from the university. So there are really a lot of scholarships inside the university, and even though sometimes students didn't know about that, the university mailed, one of my friends university mailed her that, oh, you didn't apply for that scholarship. If you apply, we will cover your tuition fee. She applied, I think it was the last day, last few hours, and the university just covered her first year tuition fee of her master's.
Yeah, what do you think was like your like secret sauce? Like, why do you manage to win the GKS? So what is like unique in your application, and how long have you been preparing for this?
I think I first came to Korea in 2014 as exchange student, and I really liked it here. So I decided to try to apply for master degree in Korea as well. And I knew about GKS in advance, so I decided. So the application period was around February, and for the whole autumn semester, I was staying in Korea, and I just decided to prepare in advance. So I stayed for 2 extra months. I covered them by myself just to take the topic exam, because I knew that if I take the topic exam, my chances would be higher to get the scholarship. So I stayed in Korea for 2 more months. I get prepared for topic. I got prepared for that, and I passed topic, and my results were ready just at the time of application. And then since I was already interested in politics, in Korean politics, in Chinese politics, in general, Far Eastern region, so I kind of wrote in my motivation letter how like my whole life journey, how it guided me through all this studying, and let me stay at the moment where I want to apply to Korean university, and why I want to study in Korea in particular, not in all other countries, because well, political science, you can study it almost in Europe, in United States, but why exactly in Korea? Because it's a great place to study political science of politics of Far East region, and I mentioned that how important Korea is for my future, and I think that was one of the key points why my application was considered, and became successful in the end.
That's amazing point. And I just wanted to highlight for like everyone who is like listening to us, like the ability of build your story, right? The whole storytelling of your past experience of your life, why exactly you're applying to this country, to this program. That's one of the key things. You have like multiple documents where you can mention this. It's usually like your essay, motivation letter. It can, like also be complimentary, like letters of reference, or it can be CV. But like the whole storyline, that's the most crucial. And that's, like usually one of the most decisive factors on like assigning scholarship. Of course, because you have exams and so on. It's like qualification points, and that's super important. And we like in study free help with all of this as well. So like that's like super super important. Pranjay, I wanted to move to you because you received like first like you're doing PhD, and first like how was your experience with PhD in career? What are like I don't know like because you also received the scholarship from the top university, and that's like university scholarships. So what was like your path of like applying to the graduate degrees, masters and PhD, receiving the funding, and maybe a few top life hacks on how to do the same?
Okay, so I mean, doing PhD is kind of tricky because you have like a lot of things to focus on simultaneously. So I think I'll just address the scholarship just to maintain the flow. So KAIST actually, similar to SN, the Seoul National University, KAIST actually has the same scholarship mechanism in which almost every international student gets like the KAIST scholarship. So that covers your tuition fees, all the tuition fees altogether. So and that is just based on like you have to maintain your grade above a certain threshold to just maintain its continuity. And it's like you have to be really bad in studies, I guess, to like breach the threshold. So I'll just say it in that perspective. Also, there are like multiple opportunities. So when you enroll yourself as a student, as a master student or a PhD student, you kind of are part of a research lab that focuses on a particular topic of interest. So you are also paid on top of your scholarship amount. You're also paid like some part from the research lab that comes from the research projects which you're taking. So that can act as an additional source of income if you want to support your like living expenses, basically. And for the living expenses, primarily the major component which you would spend your money on, let me just make it clear, on campus dormitory. So it just provides you with a decent housing. So yeah, that's like in a brief summary about the scholarship and the financial constraints which you have. For the bachelor's, I'm not pretty sure, but I mean, you also get the some amount for the bachelor's, but it's not like substantial enough to cover complete living expenses. Substantial enough to cover complete living expenses. For masters and PhD, it's like substantial enough to cover the complete expenses plus something on top of it. And it varies from lab to lab. So that's like, yeah.
Awesome. And what do you think? Like, what was like your secret sauce? For getting a scholarship. What was like the most like I don't know like an unfair advantage that you had and others didn't have?
So, I mean, continuing from a master to a PhD was a sort of advantage, I believe, because I kind of, by that time, I realized the nitty-gritties of the whole application process. So the thing is, like, usually people would apply directly on the portal. But the key thing which I kind of would like to share is if you know the professor beforehand, like just if you have a contact with the professor beforehand, he can sometimes play a critical role in vouching for your application, even if it's rejected by the committee.
Okay.
So we have a multi-tier selection process in which like you have like an initial application check and then like a primary application check and like the final review.
Yeah.
So the whole process is kind of visible to an extent to the professor, so he can like put in his opinion if you have if you have spoken to the professor. So
Yeah.
I think that is something which like the students who are applying should be careful about. Like talk to the professors first.
Awesome. And I like it. And I just wanted to highlight like when you apply to PhD, you can talk to professors, but like sometimes it's difficult to reach to them. Or like like if you're applying to like undergrad or like masters, you need to make sure your story is right. So how to make it happen? So like again, like that's why like in our community we have 1,000 mentors,
Okay.
like the guys we have right now. So like I'm talking to like speakers. Like the best way is to ask for like advice, like to overview documents, to ask for the reference, to ask maybe for the contact or the access of the professors from the students who right now studying at the same universities. Again, like in our community, we have more than 1,000 of mentors. Yeah, and that's like extremely important. Just not to handle, like the whole application on your own. I also kind of like wanted to ask because I know guys that like studies and careers like very like I would say time consuming, so it's not maybe as easy to combine education like and part-time work as it could be like in some other countries. And I know that lots of the students, like majority, like we usually study because we want to have a job at the end of the day. So like from your perspective, what do you think, like when we talk about the career perspective after studying, or maybe combining studies with part-time like work or like internship, how does it work in South Korea?
Okay, so I think this time I'll begin.
Yeah.
Just to, yeah. Okay, so I think I would just like to add on a few points that when you're emailing a professor for reference or recommendation, you should also be prepared for the fact that they are not going to reply. It's just by luck. I mean, just like assume it from the professor side, they get like kind of applications or comments or referral requests for referrals from multiple students. So it's just like, yeah. So I mean, just be careful about that. You wouldn't want to force the professor as well, like spam him or yeah, do anything like that. Okay, and then basically like coming back to the primary things, like for masters, I would recommend like searching for professor as well. That
Yeah.
should be something which you should do, because the thing is, when you want to, so in KAIST it's a bit different. So since we have like our own research projects and we are associated with our own labs, we do not actually have time for doing part-time jobs. That's one of the reasons why we are paid from the lab.
Yeah, PhD,
So,
yeah, different. It's like a full-time job.
and yeah, exactly. And the thing is, since majority of the projects are related to the industry, most of the students end up joining the same companies because it's kind of, you already have the inside information about the company.
Okay.
So it's like once you get into the system, you are all in to an extent. I mean, there are some like nitty-gritties here and there, but yeah, once you're in, you are kind of in with in the system. So that shouldn't like matter that much with the job, because most of the professors kind of have their own tie-ups with different companies. So they can, and you would also have like your also seniors in the lab and like your peers who would be joining different companies and all those things. So it's kind of a referral system again, where you don't bypass the like the whole recruitment cycle, but it just makes sure that your application at least goes to the HR.
Yeah, nice, thank you. That's like very, very important comments. And again, like guys, like for those who are like, listening to the speakers, referrals are extremely important, either to professors or like to the committee or like anyone. Like it's usually you can find them like in Facebook groups, but again, like response rate maybe not as high. Like the best way is to reach through the current students or like alumnus. That's like the most efficient way of like making this happen. Coming back to the topic about, I mean, yeah, when you're doing PhD, that's kind of already part-time, like even like full-time job. Like that's why it's not even the scholarship that like pretty much like the first salary. Girls, what about you? What was like your experience? Have you tried to find internship, and what do you know about not finding the job after you study in a career?
I think if I may continue, Korea is one of those countries that allows students to have part-time job while they're studying. The student visa, it's named D2 visa, and after half a year you have it. You can actually legally apply for part-time job. After half a year you have it. You can actually legally apply for part-time job. Of course, with the permission from the university, but a lot of students, I know they had part-time jobs, from translating part-time jobs to simply waitressing in a coffee shop. That's also possible. It depends on how much time you have, whether university allows you, but it's actually legal, so a lot of students do that. I personally didn't, but I know a lot of students do, and that's not a problem.
Awesome. Anastasia, what about your experience?
Yeah, actually, I had a part-time job, and actually, during your education in South Korea, you can work 15 or 20 hours per week as a part-time worker. So, actually, for example, if you first of all, you need to understand that you have two ways of part-time jobs, I would say. So, first one is the university job, it's university positions. So, always university provides some positions where you can work at, and you don't need any permission. You just apply through the university website, or for example, for my university, they just sent me the emails through which I was kind of applying for the positions, and I was working as a assistant in a dormitory, yeah, for kind of around 2 years, I guess, with Koreans. Actually, that was great experience because I learned Korean so much, and actually finally I could speak Korean pretty well. And actually, kind of, it's one way you can work in university, or another way you can work out of the university, but for this work you need a permission from the university, from the university office, I would say. Yeah, actually, but I would say that, guys, you cannot work there illegally. I mean, of course you cannot work illegally, and it's very, very it's not good, because you could be how to say it, deported, right, from the country if they catch you. So it's not good, because Koreans are very kind of, they like law. They do everything according to the law, and so if anyone will know about it, they will report you 98%.
Oh my
So
God.
yeah, actually, it's very important, very, very important to understand, because Koreans, they are not afraid of the law, but actually they are working, living, and doing everything according to the law. It's very important for them. Yeah, actually, from my experience, I was working as a part-time worker in the university, and actually, I had some opportunities to do some internships, because my university provided me with such opportunities. I didn't use it, to be honest, just because I had work at the time, and I kind of, they paid me enough money, so I didn't work in
Which is free, which is like organized for our students. So like when people just like buy a subscription, yeah, you don't have to pay anything on top, and like we have like weekly or like bi-weekly self-organized speaking clubs of the Korean language. Yeah, and by the way, it's not only Korean, that's also like Polish, German, like all of these questions. Yeah, oh my God, so many questions again, guys. Like before we have like maybe like 15 more minutes left. Again, like all the questions gonna be answered in the app. So like at the end of the event, we're gonna give you a QR code to go to the app, and mentors will be willing to answer questions. We see a lot of them, but overall, yes, almost every course and every major can be covered with a scholarship in South Korea, because they have amazing scholarships. If you wanna like get more like specific answers, we're gonna cover this in the app. Maybe like one of the final questions. I know we have like maybe a list of the topics, but usually when I jump in, I just don't follow them. Just go with the flow. I know that deadlines for the scholarships and the application in Korea are like really early, are like the most earliest ones. So for example, if you guys want to get a scholarship to start in the September 2023, like you need to submit the documents like September, October, which is going to be like in a few months, and you don't really have like any time left, like to prepare for like any of this. So what do you think, like what is like the perfect time to prepare for the like application in Korea, and what is like the most key things students could do, like because we have summer coming, what should like key things every applicant should focus on during the summer to make sure like they get a scholarship and they get admitted to South Korea?
Okay, so I can say that first of all, I already told it, but anyway, you need to learn the language. I mean, of course, as I texted in a chat, it's not necessary for the application to the programs, because most programs in South Korea are in English. However, if you would like to increase your chances, you need to start learning Korean language. And believe me, it's not only important for the scholarship, it's important for your life, because Koreans, they don't know English well. I mean, in Seoul, since it's capital, of course, they do know English, but not so well, believe me. And for example, outside of Seoul, because you will need to speak in Korean. So, and actually how you can increase your chances, of course, if you still have time, you need to increase your GPA, because for Koreans, for bachelor degree, for master, it's important to have a good, and actually maybe volunteering projects are good for them as well, but not so important as your extracurricular activities such as online courses, maybe some courses from different top universities, and actually they like top, how to say it. They like prestige courses. They like kind of prestige overall. So actually, if you can do something, that would be good. It's on my side.
Awesome. Guys, what are like your intakes?
I would agree about the language, because it's really important to learn Korean language if you want to study in Korea. Especially even though if you just learned it a little bit, still it was mentioned in the motivation letter, because that will show that you're really dedicated to studying in Korea. And of course, after coming to Korea, you can improve it a lot, but still to those people who will judge your application, that actually means a lot, especially if you have like topic exam certificate. Even if it's like level 1, it still means a lot that you actually put some efforts into learning language. And I think that the most important is actually the motivation letter. Of course, grades are important. Koreans, I think they really look for grades, for GPA and certificates, but the motivational letter is exactly why did you decide to come to Korea, why Korea among all other countries, how after graduation you will benefit to Korea as well as to your own country, how will you improve relationship maybe between your country and Korea, how will you improve the image of Korea among the international community. I think it's all important, and they really look for it.
Nice, I love it. So language, it's going to make it easier and going to show your appreciation to the country. Get extra certificates, because Asia kind of like like really likes anything that is would be like proven. Pranjay, what about you? What would be your key advice?
Okay, so I mean, like both of the presenters, I kind of emphasized on the language. I would like to also emphasize on, so when you like give substantial amount of time to your application when you're writing it. You would want to when you're writing it. You would want to highlight every possible key point which you have to showcase. I mean, at this point of time, you have access to online courses. Just do them, get some. So I'm answering this from the point of a technical specialization. So I mean, that's where my expertise is. So if you're applying for like masters in like tech or science or anything, that's where this is applied to. That's where the advice is applied to. So just like make contributions to highlight your application. For example, if you have a GitHub repository, just make sure that it's more prominent. You have access to online courses, do that. So what this will do is it will like highlight your application as separate from others, that you went beyond your way, beyond your grades, and you achieved some extra things. So that's like also key to highlight that you are really motivated for this master's or a PhD or whatever you're applying for. So I mean, that's like the additional point. Language is the topmost, that's for sure.
Yeah, awesome. I love it. I love all the comments. And guys, when you like applying with a startup free, I'm again like about my favorite topic, which is my company. So like while being a premium member, you can learn the language because we have a Korean speaking club. We have special student leadership programs that are included. So you can get, like within one summer, you can get up to 5 certificates of international volunteer programs in leadership. It's going to really increase, like your chances a lot. And you can talk with the, like mentors. You can ask about their advice, like how to write motivation letter, how to, like CV, and so on and so forth. So we have got like approximately 10 minutes left. I know, like maybe some last inspirational words from you guys to like inspiring students. So like they would believe everything is possible, and I'm sure everyone wants to, like be, like in your shoes. Yeah. And please remember, like for the rest, we still have like some gift for you at the end. So please don't leave right now. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, so actually, what I'd like to say, guys, first of all, when you go to study anywhere, no matter it's Asia, it's South Korea, China, or England, or anywhere, please try to learn the culture and the history of the country where you would like to get your degree, just because you will understand the people there much easier and sooner if you understand them from the beginning. I mean, from the history, I would say. And actually, I would like to say that South Korea, it's very, very interesting country and maybe complicated somehow, but I don't know why, but actually as soon as I left the country, I wanted to go there back again because I cannot explain this, but actually I love it so much. And if you really do understand the country, you do appreciate what they have in their history and their culture, and you how to say, you're into this, you will love it. Believe me, you will love it so much, so you won't leave it anywhere. Yeah, that's my words.
Awesome. I love it. Yeah, the culture. Yeah, I do agree. I remember when I got to China, at first I hated this, and then like, but then it got better. Yeah, awesome. I like it. What about you?
I think another good advice would be before coming to Korea, try to make friends with people who already live in there. That might be people from your country, or maybe some Koreans that you can find online. Just well, not close friends, just to know people, because when you first come here, everything would be so unfamiliar, and even simply like, I don't know, using post office or where to buy some, I don't know, kitchen utensils, you might not know that. And people who are already living here, they might help you to rent your first apartment here, or to help you send some parcels, or help you do other things that are really easy, but you just simply, since you've never lived in Korea, you just don't know how to do them. And that might really help to get someone.
Good point, but it's just like a basic point that it would be better to have someone to contact to in Korea before you arrive. And after you arrive, for sure, you will be experiencing a lot of changes. There are multiple, like every culture is different, every society is different. So that's how, with the way things are.
Yeah.
Just don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it. Just ask for help. I mean, you would be surprised, even if you don't know the language, the amount of effort the other person would take to go outside his way to help you out if you just ask for it. So that would be just like my 2 cents on this one.
Thank you. Yeah, and again, we have problem mentors. They're all here. All the best. Thank you guys so much for your time. I'm just gonna quickly once again remind people for how you can join. Join the study group. Thanks so much for your time. I know that was like invaluable, and if you can answer some questions, like we can, have like the follow up, like the buzz going on in the app. Answering questions is going to be super useful. Thank you so much for all the inspiration that you gave and the valuable insights today for the students. Thanks again.
Thank you everyone for joining.
Yeah, and yep. Before we end, once again, I know everyone was asking, for everyone who'd like to get our help with either applying to the South Korea, getting scholarship, maybe finding a job in any other country, or like applying to any other country, getting leadership experience that actually increases your chances. That's all possible with the Study for Premium membership. Again, like you only buy one subscription and any journey can be covered. Any country, education, career, anything. Once again, this was part of the free events. We only have 5 of them, usually per month in the, in the premium subscription, premium membership. We have unlimited amount of chats. You have direct access to the mentors, like how like amazing speakers we have today. And you can ask all the questions about essay, like about application, about winning the scholarship, like about references for the professors and all of this. And we have more than 15 monthly events like this, but like in free, it's only 5. And we have a huge database of programs with the scholarship. So all your questions about like, hey, there's a scholarship for this program, for that, we have everything like this in our platform. We have a huge database, like 300,000 programs inside. So yeah, and let me just do this. And how much does it cost? For quarterly, it costs only $99 to join the membership of the premium, like average per month only $30. It's slightly more expensive, like than Netflix, but it's approximately 1,000,000 times more valuable than any of this. Again, for only like $99 per quarter, you can get access to all the resources, like everything you need just to make sure you're successful, not only in South Korea, but any other given country. Yeah, so like if you guys have any questions about how to join, and as we promised with the gift, we have a special coupon right now that you can have, and when you're gonna be purchasing like buying subscription, you're gonna put this promo code Research and Career, and you're gonna get a guide for like government detailed guide for free, but how to apply to the government career scholarship. That's like everyone was like asking. But all of this, again, for all the questions, once again, go to the app. You can just scan QR code that we have right now. Go to the Study Free mobile app. Join the chats, education scholarships. And all the questions we had today going to be answered there. We have like lots of questions. But please, go to the app, and we're going to answer all the questions later, like after the event. Thanks so much, everyone, for coming. Once again, yeah, this is the link for the app. And I think I need just to, just start a dream life now. Don't wait, for anyone, just to push you to study in a career, like in any other country. We can start helping you now, whether it's education, it's career, it's like anything else. When you're gonna be purchasing, it is gonna be as